Going into our third campaign with 3 clubs, there was a lot of optimism in the air. After 2 successive promotions in both America and South Africa, we're looking to build further, so we naturally signed quite a few players. At Lyn we bring in a new goalie in Jasper Torkelsen for 150k from start. He's an incredible goalie, with a bit of potential as well. We then bring in a defender and midfielder for free in Isak Sjöblom, who will play in midfield for us, as well as a new right winger in 16-year-old Sifiso Mchunu for 650k from Stellenbosch. He looks incredibly promising. And finally, we used the optional future fee in Ravaglioli's loan deal to bring him here permanently for 1.8 million. And in addition, we bring in 4 players on loan from Sporting Jacks. Masere Silla, who's back at the club, Valle Egli, who we bought to Sporting Jacks from Sandefjord, as well as Nicholas Rossi and Christian Fletcher in attack. As for the outs, Breistel and Adebayo Smith were the only sales, as we got 400k and 900k respectively for them. At Sporting Jacks we brought in way more players. It was actually kind of insane. The notable ones though were goalies Mikael on loan with a buy option and Mokele for 6 million from Watford. Centre backs Tariq Fry and Lisa Sano on loan from LA Galaxy and FC Dallas respectively. Another centre back in Gabriele Guarino for 1.9 million from Empoli, and we paid that much money for him to get injured for 4 months a couple hours after signing. We then brought in midfielders Lalawi and Daga for 9.5 million and 3 million respectively. But Daga won't be playing as a midfielder, he'll be playing as a right back. We then got winger Wiebe Koistra through the doors for free, before paying 8 million to bring in Jay Stansfield from Birmingham. And finally, the last notable player we brought in was Henrik Skogvold for 230k from Fredrikstad, which is an absolute steal by the way. Despite spending so much money, we didn't actually have any big sales. Just some small ones here and there. We did, however, send Maseko and Siasi on loan to Ubuntu, which brings us to the business in South Africa. We signed goalie Dijan Ashen permanently after a successful loan spell last season, a new centre-back for free in Kieran Jacks, as well as a young centre-back on loan from Kaiser Chiefs. We then got a decent midfielder in Rasebotia for free, who'll rotate with youngster Franch, and finally we've signed a great young striker in Lelonolo Lerotholi for free from Amatux. We have also got rid of quite a few players as their contracts expired, but no one of real quality. As the season preview in both South Africa and USA have us as big favourites for relegation, we'll be looking to avoid that, and maybe push into mid-table. In South Africa we start with the dullest game of the season, as we draw 0-0 with Sekhukhune United. But in the States we start by beating Toronto FC as Sadio Mane got a straight red.
Sadio Mane. I said it last time I was on it, he's the best football player in the world.
So Benitez came off the bench to score the winner in the 92nd. Wow. As for Lyn, we're 11th in the season preview, and I'm looking to qualify for Europe this season. We start brilliantly, as Ravaglioli opened his account for the season with this tap-in from Mchunu's great low cross 14 minutes in. Fletcher then doubled it right before the break. And as they scored once in the 86th, we won 2-1 over Sarpsborg to start the season nicely. We then got a decent 1-1 draw with Rosenborg as Fletcher got our goal from the spot, before going away to Vålerenga for the derby. It was a game of few chances, as they opened the scoring with the first one, right before the break. But as Ferguson put this cross in the 95th, Tillahun popped up and scored the equalizer! Our youngster from Eritrea has done it! That's a strong 1-1 draw away from home. Tillahun then continued, as he scored against Bodø Glimt as well. And as Ravaglioli also scored, we beat them 2-1 to give them the first loss of the season. We then beat Strømsgodset as well, as our 2 centre-backs Øren and Silla got 1 each. Before somehow losing 6-1 to Viking. How? We then won by big numbers, as we beat Sandnes Ulf 5-3 thanks to Ravaglioli getting a hat-trick. Before drawing 1-1 with Tromsø, winning 1-0 over Lillestrøm and drawing 1-1 with Brann as well. As for the opening 10 games in the States, we drew 2-2 with Portland as 3 goals were scored in added time.
No! Fuck! Shit! Yes!
Before we beat New York City 2-0 thanks to new signing Stansfield getting both. where both of them were from the spot actually. We then drew another game, this time with DC United, before winning 1-0 against Orlando City as Ramos got the goal. 4-1 hammering against Inter Miami was next, as De La Torre got a brace against us. We then hammered Atlanta United with a 5-2 scoreline as we had 5 different goal scorers. A 2-2 draw with Nashville was next, before we got a surprise 3-0 win over LAFC as Ramos got a brace. Before our under-the-radar signing Naveda got the final one. He's a young Mexican striker by the way, who we got for just 35k. And finally, the 10th game ended with a 1-0 loss to St. Louis City of all teams. Our second game in South Africa ended in a 1-0 loss to Supersport, since they scored this pen in the 77th. 2 wins followed though. 4-0 over Polokwane City as they got 2 red cards, while youngster Mkise was amongst the goals for us. And 2-1 over Amazulu as Seli and centre-back Jonas got 1 each. A 2-0 loss to Chippa United was the result in the next game, before returning to winning ways with a 4-2 win over Cape Town City. Seli got a brace, while youngster Franch and new signing Lerotholi got the 2 others. A 1-1 draw with Stellenbosch was next, before actually winning 5 straight. We beat Royal AM and Barocco 1-0 as Lerotholi and Chauke got the goals in those 2 games, before beating Vendo 4-1, Orlando Pirates 2-1 and Golden Arrows 2-0 as Lerotholi got another one. Our winning run came to an abrupt end, as we lost 4-2 to title favourites Sundowns. We fought back from 2-0 down to make it 2-2, but then conceded twice in the second half. And now we don't have a game for 2 months? What? Why? Either way, our 14th and 15th league games ended in victory, as we beat Cape Town Spurs 2-1 as Micah and Lerotholi got the goals, before we beat Kaiser Chiefs 7-0. 7-0. Lerotholi got a flipping hat-trick, as we somehow put 7 past them. That does mean we're in second at the halfway point. We're only a point behind Sundowns, who do have a game in hand to be fair, but that's incredible. We're also tied on points with Supersport in third, as we're playing insanely well. Returning to Europe and Norway, we somehow lost 1-0 to Kristiansund. But it was because of Fletcher missing a pen. That makes sense. An early goal from Sjöblom meant we picked up 3 points against HamKam in the next game though. We continued that by beating Haugesund 2-0, with Tillahun and Ravaglioli scoring once again. Against Molde in the next game, we had some huge chances in the first half. Tillahun first hit the post with his header, before Rossi somehow missed this wide open goal from 4 fucking yards. How has he not scored there? Ravaglioli then had his tap-in effort cleared off the line, before Tillahun missed this sitter. So that means we drew 0-0 with Molde. Finally, we won 3-1 over Fredrikstad as Silla and Fletcher was amongst the goals. And that means we're in third at the halfway point. We're only 3 points behind rivals Vålerenga, and are 5 points ahead of the first team outside the European places. So we're looking good to get European football next season. As for the next 5 games across the pond, it was a good start as we beat LA Galaxy 1-0. A single chance for both teams meant a post hit for them and a goal for us through Naveda. But then we absolutely crumbled. We lost 4 straight. 1-0 to both Montreal and Vancouver, 4-1 to Chicago despite actually taking the lead, and finally 2-1 to San Jose as Brunori scored both for them.
Now I'm panicking. Don't panic. No, I am, because I'm going to lose my job.
So that means we've dropped down to 13th at the halfway point. We started so well with loads of great results against bigger sides. But we've now lost 5 of the last 6 games. If we can return to our old form though, we can definitely get into the playoffs. As for the Cups, we've been knocked out both here in Norway and in South Africa. Here in the States, we advanced against Chicago with a 1-0 win, before losing 3-2 to Columbus Crew. In Norway, we hammered Sarpsborg 6-1, with Ravaglioli getting a hat-trick, before somehow losing 3-2 to 4th tier side Frøya. And finally, in South Africa, we lost 3-0 to Sekhukhune United to get knocked out of one of 2 cups. In the winter transfer window, we didn't really do much business at any of the 3 clubs. We only brought in 1 player at Sporting Jacks, an emergency cover at both fullbacks in Isaias Roberts. But we did sell some players. Juan Pablo Rodriguez got mad for not playing and left for 800k. Elijah Winder went to San Diego for 3.5 million, which is crazy money for that bad of a player. And finally, Diego Rosales went to San Jose for 4.3 million, moving up to 5.25, which is some good money as I'm using Daga as a right back from now on. We then sent Seiku Kone, who we signed this summer on loan to Lyn, and also left back Reed Brown on loan to Ubuntu. At Lyn we also brought in 1 player, Sean Nilsen Modebe for 2 million from Tromsø, a very promising and already good striker. That brings us into the second half of the season in Europe. We started by drawing 1-1 away to Rosenborg, as Ravaglioli got our goal, before winning 1-0 against Sarpsborg with Fletcher getting the goal. And now we've got Suppla at home. Fletcher opened the game by missing this huge chance just 4 minutes in. But in the 32nd, Mchunu got the ball from Sjöblom and scored with a deflected finish to get us the lead. And as Sæter missed this big chance late on, we win 1-0 to get the derby win. And that's also huge for European football. But to bring us back down to earth, Ravaglioli got injured in training and is out for a month. So we then lost 2-0 away to Bodø Glimt because of Kars literally giving them the ball, which led to a goal twice. Sjöblom then got a straight red in our next game, but we somehow won 4-1 either way. Fletcher also got a hat-trick that game. Wow. Against Viking in the 21st game, they took the lead before we equalized just a minute after to get the 1-1 draw. As for our games in the States, we start brilliantly with 2 2-1 wins. First over Columbus as Cervantes and Sassano got 1 each, and then over Dallas with Runningen Jørgensen and Ramos scoring. And after the board had upped our transfer budget to 24 million, we lost 4-3 to New England. We conceded a winner in the 96th. We continued that trend, as we conceded after the 90-minute mark yet again, which meant we drew 3-3 with Colorado. We then hammered Austin 4-1, as Asano of all people got a brace. A 1-0 win over Louisville was next, as Stansfield got our goal, before beating Cincinnati 4-1 as well, thanks to a brace from Ramos. And then we got hammered 4-1 by New York Red Bulls. We still haven't won against them. We swiftly returned to winning ways though, as we beat Charlotte 4-2 with 4 different goal scorers. A 3-1 win over Real Salt Lake was next, as Asano, Ramos and Cervantes got our goals. But then we lost, 2-0 to Houston of all teams. However, we then somehow won 1-0 against first place Seattle. Our OG youth lad Cervantes got the goal to get such an important win. And as we hammered Sporting KC 4-1 and Philadelphia 5-1, we're officially into the Champions playoffs. We actually finished in 4th in the league and received 60 million for it. And we're into the playoffs where we're facing FC Dallas. We performed poorly in the first leg, as Musa and Delgado got Dallas 2-0 up after 51 minutes. We did get one back through Naveda 20 minutes later, but couldn't get the equalizer to make it 2-2 in the second leg. 24 minutes into the second leg, however, we got a pen, which Stansfield missed. He missed. Great. But from the following corner, Guarino actually scored to equalize it on aggregate. We then conceded straight from kickoff. But straight from kickoff in the second half, we scored. But not even 5 minutes later, we conceded again. So we draw 2-2 in the second leg, but lose 4-3 on aggregate to be knocked out of the playoffs. Returning to Europe though, we continued our incredible season in Norway. We won 2-0 over Sandnes Ulf as Sjöblom and Mchunu got the goals, before also winning the next 5 games. We beat Tromsø 2-1 as former Tromsø player Modebe got both. We then beat Lillestrøm 1-0 with Fletcher getting the goal after actually missing a pen 3 minutes earlier. Brann 3-0 as Modebe got another goal. Kristiansund 4-1. And finally HamKam 4-2 as Fletcher, Umchunu and Ravaglioli with a brace got our goals. And as we drew 0-0 with Haugesund, 1-2-1 over Molde, and drew 0-0 with Fredrikstad, we've actually got second place. We've just qualified for the UEFA Champions League qualifiers. That's insane in just our second season back at the top level. We did finish well behind Bodø Glimt in first, but that is expected. And just you wait for a season or two. We will be there. The budgets are absolute horror though. Look at that, as a Champions League team. And then look at the budgets at Sporting Jacks. Well, I guess UEFA are gonna be on my ass for some weird transfers from Lyn to Sporting Jacks. So we've had incredible seasons in Europe and North America, but can we follow it up in Africa? We certainly start in brilliant fashion for the second half of the season, by beating Supersport 4-1. Maiga, Abrahams with a brace and Chauke got the goals. Before we also beat Sekokune 3-1, Polokwane 3-2, Stellenbosch 3-0 and Amazulu 6-4. Lerotholi got himself 4 goals across those 4 games, as he just continues. Lerotholi got one in our next game as well, but it wasn't enough to get the win, as we drew 3-3 with Chippa United. A narrow 3-2 win over Baroka followed as Chauke got a brace, before youth lad Mkise got on the score sheet in our 3-0 win over Venda. A dull 0-0 draw with Orlando Pirates was next, before Lerotholi returned to scoring in a 4-1 win over Cape Town City. A 4-0 hammering of Royal AM in a 26th league game followed, as Lerotholi got yet another 2 goals. We then lost 2-1 to Orlando Pirates in a South African FA Cup quarterfinal, as they got the winner in extra time. Back to the positives though, the youth intake is here, and it's incredible once again. We have 5 elite talents, who weirdly enough are all attackers. 3 wingers and 2 strikers. With that good news, we beat Cape Town Spurs 3-2 with Abrahams, Reed Brown and Chauke scoring. We did then lose 4-2 to Golden Arrows and 3-0 to Sundowns. But as we beat Kaiser Chiefs 2-0 with Jackson Mobelo getting the goals, we finished the league season in second. That means we qualified for the African Champions League. Wow! Another insane season for all 3 clubs, where we got continental qualification at all clubs. Lyn and Ubuntu are in the preliminary rounds of the Champions League, and Sporting Jacks are qualified for the North American Champions Cup. But now it might just be time to add another team to this hypothetical multi-club network. Perhaps a team in England.
Lad, are you dumb? Are you getting rude to man? That's what you get, fam. Push you.